Hi everyone, and welcome to the next part in my series on document accessibility. Now, I would say PDF accessibility because that's what most of this series is focused on, but I wanted to take at least one video to go through like Word document accessibility, just because I think it still is important to know because a lot of PDF documents might actually come sourced from a doc file. So I think building accessibility into the doc file can actually be easier often to make your overall document accessible, even when it gets exported to a PDF file. And even better still, doing things accessibly in Word document can actually be a lot easier, simply because you have a lot more control over the text and the content of the document. So either way, the three main topics I want to go over in Word document accessibility are just these three: headers, alt text, and descriptive linking. Oh, whoops. I mean, these are certainly less than the amount of topics I have in PDFs, but that's just simply because I think that these are the three most important parts of document accessibility, and it's a lot nicer than PDF accessibility, just because these really are the only things you have to worry about. You don't have to worry about so much of the reading order, just because that is already built into how you have the document structure. So either way, let's get started. Let's say I want to start making this article on UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles. Now, I'm just going to be, I don't want to type in a whole actual paper out or anything, but I also don't want to use dummy text because I think that looks kind of weird, to be honest. So I'm actually going to go once again back to Wikipedia's article on University of California, Los Angeles, because honestly, I think Wikipedia, the reason I use it for so many other examples too, is because Wikipedia has some pretty awesome heading structure that I think a lot of articles could strive for, and that we should try to model off of, because their heading structure is pretty intuitive, and it's an easy example. It's a simple example to see exactly how headings will work in our own documents. So speaking of headings, let's see. We have the University of California, Los Angeles as our title of our article. As previously discussed, the title is, usually probably going to be the H1, the first heading of the document. Now, unfortunately, this is where I think the first accessibility mistake happens for a lot of people who are just jumping into the Word documents and don't quite know exactly how to make things the accessible way. Is that I see, you have people that have that make the text really big, and let's say bold, and let's say blue for UCLA colors. Now that's great. This would look fine to someone like me if I turn back to normal size text and black text, and I start writing University of and unbold. Sorry, and unbold. If I start writing text under here, I could say, aha, yeah, that's the title of the article, simply because we have this big, nice text up here. However, to a screen reader, this text, because it's still using the normal styling, it's just being made bigger and bolder, appears no different to this kind of paragraph text down here. And so there's less structure on the page because we didn't use any proper headings, and so the computer doesn't know what the headings are. So for example, it would just be as if I made the title of this document the same size as all the sort of font as all the rest of the text on the page, which would make it a lot harder to distinguish, maybe not impossible, but a lot harder to distinguish where the heading text was. For that reason, in Doc, we want to be using this thing called heading 1 up here in the styles pane. The styles are the way that you can tell a computer, for sure, that this text is heading text. So the computer can identify it not just by how big and bold and colorful the text is, but also just programmatically know, aha, I have been told this is heading 1 text, so it shall be heading 1 text. So I'll just click the heading 1 text while I have this text, the heading 1 style, while I have my text I want to be the heading 1 selected. And you can see that it actually changes it to the default heading 1 style. And, let's say that, it's not like I'm going to be wanting to use this exact color and this exact font for every single document. So how can I change what the computer think heading 1 is? Well, that means I can just go into, to do that, I can just go into right click or control click the heading 1 up here, and I can click modify. And now you can see that this heading 1, I can change its properties. I can change it to be a different font if I want. I can make it a little bit bigger if I want. So let's say I want to go back to my old size of 22. And the same color, and I can also make it bold. And so now if I hit OK, that'll be saved. And then the heading 1 will be updated to match that once I click heading 1 to apply the style again. And you can see that if I want to go on to another heading, let's say I want to make another section on University of California, Irvine. Let's say I started another section within this entire document. I can just click heading 1 again, and the same style will apply, the same style of the bold 22-point font. So heading structure will help you give a lot more structure to your document as a whole. And so it'll sort of be like this Wikipedia article here, where I can just simply see very quickly, these are all the different headings under the whole article. And so this will allow people using screen readers to have a much easier time jumping throughout the sections that they want to see, much like seeing this overview table of contents, almost. So that's headings in a nutshell, how you can properly style headings. So let's continue onward with let's say I want to continue writing this article. And by writing, I mean I'll just copy and paste from Wikipedia's place. So I'll just take this text and put it right into the first, right beneath the heading, as in the actual article here. So I'll just copy and paste this here, but I only want to paste the unformatted text because I think the links will look a little funny. Yeah, so we'll talk about links later, though, of course. So yeah, this is the text that will go right under my title. And now that we have that first, I don't want to copy every single one of these paragraphs. One paragraph will do for now. So now I'm just going to jump down to the heading 2, the history, which is the first sort of subsection under the University of California, Los Angeles article. So I'll just write down history. But of course, I don't want to fall into the same trap again by making it slightly larger to denote the beginning of a new section. I actually want to be using this heading 2 because this history is the heading 2 under here. It is the first subsection under the whole article. So I'm just going to hit heading 2 in the styles pane up here. And once again, if that's a bit too small for my liking, which it is, I can just go into modify, and by control-clicking or right-clicking the heading 2 box in the styles pane and modifying the size and turning it bold again. And you can modify this to be however you want. And so I think that looks a little better. Maybe it could be not bold, but I don't want to think about design too much right now. I think that's for the document creator to decide. So yeah, this is how you can make a second heading. And you would just continue applying the correct headings through 1, 2, 3, and I believe there should be, if there's not more, you can create your own heading 3, 4, 5, 6. Depends on how much you need. I think in other versions of Word there might be more, but either way. So now I can just go back to my document, and I'll just take this this first paragraph under the history section. I'll paste it without the formatting again so it doesn't look funny. Cool. So, I forgot an I. Great. So I think this is looking pretty good. So now, of course, the next most important thing I want to say about is alt text, which is involved with pictures. So this picture right here is under the history section. And so I'll just take the picture and copy and paste it into my document because, let's say I want to have this image in my document as well. Whoops. Great, that's a little big. Let me make it a little smaller. Cool. So this picture, right, if I want to format it a bit more, yeah, I could do some centering. I could make it look a little nicer. But let's just say I want to have this picture somewhere in my article. Now, of course, we have been over in PDF accessibility, at least, that pictures pose an interesting problem to screen readers because, people who have their own vision, that they're able to see the article, to see the document, they won't have any problem interpreting the picture and why it's there and everything. However, we will need to add some kind of description for the screen reader to tell the user what's there, because the screen reader doesn't know by its own what's in that picture. So we sort of have to put that information in place for the screen reader to read. So how do we insert alt text to this picture? All you have to do is control-click or right-click the image, go to Format Picture, and it'll bring up this side menu over here. Go over to this third icon tab here called Layout and Properties, and there'll be alt text drop down right here. And you can see that it'll bring up this box for alt text title. It's not too important what title actually is. I think that might be some kind of other metadata for the image. What's more important is the description actually here. This is where our actual alt text or actual description of the image will go. Because I copy and paste this from a URL, I think Word automatically brings in the URL of that image, which is sort of its best guess as to what, it might contain some information about what the image actually is, which it sort of does, but we can do better, of course. So we'll want to manually modify this. So I think the most simple alt text we can come up with is actually just UCLA, actually, I guess it's called the Los Angeles State Normal School. And so the same principles of alt text apply, of course, from our PDF trainings to here, where because the alt text principle is the same. You just want to write down what you would be wanting to read to your friend who wasn't in the same room as you. You want to describe what the picture is telling you in the context of the overall document. So, of course, the alt text, you'll have to basically just go with your best instinct is, of course, the principle I believe I always go by at least. Yeah, so that's all for alt text. And so you can just, so that's how you put in the alt text to an image in a Microsoft Word document. Now, of course, the final topic that I said we were going to be talking about is descriptive linking. And so for that, I will actually start to bring in some text from maybe the next paragraph. And so the cool thing is, Wikipedia already has some pretty good alt text some pretty good descriptive linking here, where they very much avoid using words like check out this. I guess what we okay. So and so the final topic, of course, I said I was going to talk about in this, and I think is also pretty important because it's very easy to forget. Is what we call descriptive linking. And so the easiest example of what descriptive linking is to show you what descriptive linking is not. And so all I have to do is type in something like check out this link for more information, for more info, let's say. Which, I see this kind of thing a lot, which it's And so the final topic I said we were going to talk about is descriptive linking. So descriptive linking, the easiest way to show you what descriptive linking is to show you what it's not. It's one of those kinds of things. So I'll just write the sentence, click here for more info, which is unfortunately the kind of thing I see a lot. Just it's very easy to fall into this kind of trap because it's so obvious. You can just click here and just put in a link to somewhere over here. So, I could put in a hyperlink and just go to, google.com. Doesn't have to be anything real. So, yeah, this kind of thing I am willing to bet happens a good amount in a lot of documents that people make. But unfortunately, the issue is the fact that a lot of the times this makes it very much annoying for screen readers to navigate the links on the page. Very often what will happen is that screen readers will have a way to display all the linked text in a document so they can easily see, what are the important links on this document that I can easily jump to. Similarly to heading structure, where they'll have a heading view where they'll be able to look around for the different headings so they can get a good idea of the document structure. They'll click around they'll have a feature that shows you all the links so you can see maybe what links are relevant to what you're looking for, like some kind of RSVP link maybe. But if there's just a bunch of click here's or more infos highlighted as the links, that doesn't really, it's not descriptive. It's not descriptive linking. It's not telling you where we're going to go. So that's why I actually like Wikipedia's examples more, because if I get rid of this bad example and copy and paste what they have in, they have very clearly labeled what these links are talking about. For example, if I click on this link, I am for sure going to go to a Wikipedia article on Vermont Avenue, just because that's what the link says I'm going to go to, which is great. This is exactly, if I were bringing up a list of all the links, I would know exactly, this link has to do with this place, this link has to do with this person, which is great. So this is exactly the kind of linking that you want to be doing. So instead of saying something like "click here for more info," you can say something like, "Here is find the registration page." Actually, yeah. How about go to the UCLA's website to register? And I could highlight UCLA's website because that is exactly where I'm going to go to in order to so instead of saying something like "click here for more info," I could say something like "go to the DCP's website to register for the training." And I could highlight DCP's website and put in our website as a link, dcp.ucla.edu. And that'll be very clear that, aha, when I click this link, I know for sure where I'm going to be going. It's not just saying, click here to go there, and being, fairly vague about the location I'm going to end up at. And so this is exactly what descriptive linking is. And again, this paragraph, I think, also demonstrates some great examples of how to make your links more, accurate as to where you're going to end up once you click them. So now that all of our text is in place, we can actually finally run the accessibility checker, similarly to how we did it in the PDF version. And so all we need to do to find that is go into Tools and then check accessibility. And you can see here that there are no issues that it found. We had good heading structure. We labeled the alt text in the picture. But let's say that, we have a fairly large document and we forgot to label some of the alt text. So I'll actually just go back and remove the alt text from this picture. Okay, so if I ask the checker again, what's nice is that I think it was already up, is that it'll immediately tell me, hey, there's missing alt text on the picture. And then if I click on this picture, it'll highlight for me exactly which picture it's talking about. So it's very easy to navigate around all the different errors you have and fix them sort of just one at a time. Especially for a longer document, this can be really nice for, telling you exactly which pictures are missing the alt text. And so all I need to do, it even tells you the steps that you need to do to fix this issue. And so we already know the steps, though. I'll just go back and format picture and paste back in the alt text that I took to the description. And if I close out of that, no accessibility issues anymore. So that's how you can check your document in case, you forgot some small picture had an alt text or you forgot some sort of heading structure. Then this will really help you find quickly where your issues are and how to remediate them very quickly. And so once you're done modifying the document, once you're done putting in all the accessibility, that's it. We have created a fairly accessible document. And so those are the three topics to remember that we talked about. We had the heading structure. We had the alt text for images, and we had descriptive linking. And so yeah, that's it for Word. You can see that was probably a lot easier than PDF documents, just because once again we have a lot more control over the structure of the document, so it's fairly easy to fix all these issues. So yeah, thank you for watching this one, and I hope it helped you. I'll see you in the next one.